Hello everyone, it's Elizabeth here with another look at the procurement lifecycle. We've talked about requirements, we've talked about the vendor selection process, or at least the beginnings of the vendor selection process, and we're now at the point where you can negotiate and put together a contract with the vendor that you have selected. Now, I have heard that there's typically around 50 to 100 configurable clauses in a typical IT contract, which makes there quite a lot of negotiation needed for you to work through all of those with the different supplier, with the supplier and your own team to work out what answers you want to put in them. You might well find, it all depends on what it is that you are buying, because you may well find that for a very simple service or a cloud-based service, there is no choice. There's very little negotiation or contract discussions to be had. You're filling in a standard template, perhaps adding an appendix or a schedule at the end with service hours or key contacts for your business. Tick the box and you're done. But you may well find, and you should find, that for larger investments and more configurable solutions, that you are looking at a protracted piece of discussion and negotiation for a contract. And I've been involved in some contract negotiations which took months. We got a very good solution at the end, which was mutually beneficial for both parties, but the amount of time I spent in meetings with lawyers and the supplier and the rest of my senior management team was extreme. It paid off in the end, but we're negotiating all kinds of different clauses. I would say, as a project manager, you cannot run this by yourself unless you have some kind of specialist legal and procurement background that I do not have. So you need to be working with your legal team or legal advisors, and preferably somebody internally within your contract negotiation or procurement management function who can also be the face of your business for those kind of discussions. So there's a lot of work to be done with negotiating, and I think from a project manager's perspective, it's almost, it depends very much on the contract and the supplier and the service, but on those bigger contracts, it's almost like you're there for the ride. And you're looking at it from an implementation perspective. If we contract with this, what does it mean for me and my team? Can I implement this? What problems is that going to face for us? How are we going to close this down and hand this off to operations later? What do we need to be thinking about at this point with these contract clauses that make it possible for me to do my job? And then that is what you are contributing to the debate and to the discussion. You can negotiate on pretty much anything within a contract. You may well find that the supplier says no, but there's no harm in asking, right? So you might as well start off from a place of going in with an open mind and looking at what you can negotiate. The things that come up in contract negotiations that you might not otherwise think about day to day are things like warranties, longer term service maintenance, support for whatever it is that you're buying over a longer period of time, what happens when it is mothballed and a new service comes along, how do you upgrade to that? Those kind of things that as project people, we tend to only focus on this period of time that we're involved in the project, not this period of time for the whole of the life of the project. So you might want to involve or prompt other people to invite to the discussion the ops side, the operations side, the business as usual side people who will be doing the discussions going longer, much longer term. So those are the kinds of things to think about when you are working on a contract discussion, and I'm sure there's a ton more other things that come up all through those discussions as well. So I'd love to hear your techniques and tips for talking with people and doing this contract negotiation. What contract negotiations have you been involved with? Have you been involved in any? Are you looking forward to sitting around a table with lawyers for 8 hours trying to thrash through the small print of a contract? It's tiring, but I found it very interesting. So I'd love to hear your stories. Please share them in the comments, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. Bye.